In this series of photos, we'll look at how the camera calculates the exposure when the user changes the ISO setting. So the camera's in program mode on my camera. I pick the ISO, and the camera's going to take the best shutter speed and aperture combination to make sure that the image is bright enough to be able to see. This scene is of a flower with a rock in the background, and it's in a shady part of the house on a summer day. Starting out, you can see that the ISO is set at 100. Probably not the best setting for this situation since the available light is limited a little bit. For that reason, the camera has chosen an aperture of f2.8, which on my lens is the largest aperture that it can go to. And you also notice that the shutter speed is 1/45th of a second. If you remember from class, most people can handhold a camera at 1/60th of a second and have a sharp image. So this is below that and would oftentimes require the use of a tripod. If I change that ISO setting to 200, bump that up a little bit, you can see that the f-stop increased to f3.5, or decreased rather. The number increased, but the opening decreased. And the shutter speed also got a little bit faster, 1/60th of a second. So in this setting at ISO 200, I could handhold. I wouldn't need the use of a tripod for this and would be able to take that image. Also notice that between the two, there really isn't much of a difference in the brightness of the image. So the camera's doing a good job of calculating what the correct exposure should be. If we go up to ISO of 400, f4.0, so a little bit smaller lens opening, and 1/90th of a second. Changing that setting to an ISO of 800, f4.5 at 125th of a second, and at ISO 1600, f5.6 and 1/180th of a second. So you can see the differences in how the camera in program mode will capture the best exposure value for that image.